let's bring in our Zoom guest, Simon Patrick. Let's hear your perspective on these articulated vehicles. What are the gaps that you have observed in the current regulatory framework, and how do you think they can be addressed?
Well, thank you so very much for that important question. First, the gaps that I've observed, and it's not just related to Nigeria, but it cuts across, but more in countries, in low-income countries such as Nigeria, is that road safety is not an interesting subject. It's not an interesting subject because these things that happen on our road are all preventable and avoidable. That's one thing we should all be aware. I mean, the stakeholders on the studio have clearly stated some of the approaches, and there is no basis to dwell on that, but to just pay attention around the interest of road safety. I believe personally that it has come of age that our roads system, or the safety and emergency situation, need to be declared on the road. And it is like, if you look at the statistics of people that are being killed on our road on a daily basis, they are staggering. We're losing human beings. We're losing our valuable resources. Transportation is the biggest or the most vital aspect of every country economy. It drives issues such as economic activities such as market, school. It connects people to job opportunities and boosts the economic of nation. According to the World Bank statistics, if you look at the amount of resources we lose on a daily basis, our country loses, as a result of crashes on our road, it is enormous. Country lose as much as 3 to 7% of their annual GDP, and if you put that in currency, that's billions of dollars. And so we can reduce these losses by increasing interest, because at the end of the day, we're losing life, which is our valuable lesson. We're also losing our road infrastructure. Imagine a situation where the president or minister or even local government chairman, when they approach the traffic light, they stop before the traffic light. Imagine the lives that will be saved as a result of that just gesture. Imagine the number of lives that will be lost. But we live in a situation whereby, not so many of our leaders, pay attention to issues of road safety. And that can also be seen in the level of investment that goes into road safety. And then when you look at the budgets of the Federal Road Safety Corps, it is nothing to write home about. And I'm saying this because I have worked in this sector for almost a decade, and I see the gaps, and I see what they're passing through. Nigeria is doing well by being one of the very first country to have a lead agency at the Federal Road Safety. Kudos to Nigeria, but there is a lot that needs to be done in terms of showing interest, in terms of increasing investment in this sector, in terms of acknowledging that road safety is such an important area of our economy that can boost all aspects of our economy, in terms of job creation, in terms of increasing income for the government, and everything. Everybody on the studio drove to the studio. And that is reflective of every aspect of our life. Everybody uses the road, and so for the government not to pay attention to this critical sector in terms of investment, in terms of increasing budgetary allocation, it doesn't make sense. And the situation with articulated vehicle is not one that is that is not talked about. We saw what happened at Karo Nyanya Road a few weeks ago. We're seeing from your report, we also saw what happened in Niger State. Over 100 lives were lost. And these are reoccurring cases. Reoccurring cases. The question is, what are we doing to stop this? You know, there are evidence-based approaches that countries have put together to mitigate cases like this. And I'm not going to talk about some of the ones that have been mentioned, but I'm also going to highlight, things like, designated route and restriction, time restriction. These are low-hanging, safety protocol that we would need to, adopt. And this policy doesn't just have to be in the FCT alone. It happens in the FCT in the last few weeks. We've seen it happening in Niger State. It has to be a national policy. There has to be a national policy, especially in high-risk area. Especially in high-risk area, in areas that has been identified as black spots. It has to be like that, because we're losing human beings, we're losing life. Every year, according to WHO, we're losing almost 40,000 lives on our roads. The data are there, the evidence are there. The question is, what are we doing to mitigate this? And so it has to be an interesting subject. That is my advocacy. It has to be a sector that is well invested in. And that is what countries that have achieved great success in road safety are doing globally. It has to also... Okay.
Thank you, Simon Patrick Obi. Thank you for your contribution.